Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at Lucio the Amargasaurus from the PNSO Museum Series 1 to 35 scale scientific art model line. And a giant thank you to PNSO for sending this guy over for me to review for you all today, because out of their dinosaur line, this is definitely one of my favorites. With those eye-catching colors, not to mention the Amargasaurus is a pretty awesome dinosaur in general. Amargasaurus means La Amarga lizard because it was discovered within the rocks of the La Amarga Formation in Argentina. It is a sauropod dinosaur from the early Cretaceous period, and although it was large, it was small for a sauropod when compared to others like the Brachiosaurus and the Apatosaurus, reaching only about 9 feet in height and about 30 to 33 feet in length. It's most notable for its 2 parallel rows of spines down its neck and back, which were most likely used for defense and mating display purposes. And some believe there may have even been some sort of skin sheath between these spines. In my last PNSO video, I reviewed Wilson the Tyrannosaurus Rex with you all, which was an amazing figure. And as with Wilson, we have that same clean looking glossy image on our box, dedicated to Lucio the Amargasaurus and everyone who faces great pressure, but nevertheless feels optimistic. Please believe that a smile goes a long way in solving big problems. I know Wilson the T-Rex also had a great quote on his box, so these are not only great for collectors, but they also send kids a very positive message as well, which is nice. And here is the bottom information on our box, and it says here it is made out of PVC and made in China. These boxes are very snugly and secure, so it may take you a minute or two to wiggle off the top. And as with our other PNSO products, we receive a little information booklet with some nice pictures of Lucio, as well as some information. So we have our figure here right at the top and below our base plate, which we will be taking a look at very soon. That is what I'm talking about. Look at that color and detail. I can't believe how incredibly realistic this thing looks. I feel like I just unpackaged a real little dinosaur pet. Oh my god. So Lucio is approximately 14 inches long with that nice long tail and 3.5 inches high. But when he's on his base plate, it becomes a bit wider, sending him to 4.5 inches wide. And for a size comparison, here is the original Jurassic Park Velociraptor and a coffee cup. This guy is completely solid PVC, so that means no seams, which is fantastic. And he does have a little bit of weight to him. That high level of texturing and detail is so varied and impressive. I see all these individual scales of varying sizes, some big, some small, and these winding groove pathways. A lot of work was definitely put into this sculpt, wow, and the end result really paid off. And take a look at these folds, you know, under the belly here, around the legs, adding some movement as though he's walking, you know, and his bones are moving his skin. And we also have some rib detail here on the sides as well, but not too much rib. You know, sometimes with dinosaur figures, they look kind of like shrink wrapped and they look like they're starving, but I think they did a pretty good job on this one. They didn't go overboard at all. His head is nice and small, and we have his chompers here on the front, kind of looks like a horse. And look at those eyes. I love the detail work around them, as well as the coloring to really help, you know, draw your attention to those little black glossy eyes. And down his neck, we have this protruding kind of vertebrae pattern detail, which is a really nice touch. And you can see like where the spines are attached to the neck. And dun da da da, the spines. Look how incredibly cool these are. Oh, I love them. They are made with a kind of a soft, flexible rubber, which is fantastic. In fact, all the spines are, including the ones at the top here and all the way to the bottom at the end of the tail, which is so convenient because if these were not made out of rubber, I'm 100% sure that I would have already broken a piece off, because I have a really bad habit of manhandling things. And also the tail here is rubber as well. Obviously it can't pose and stay in its position, but it's just enough to kind of allow that flexibility, so just in case if you bump it or hit it, it won't break off. And my favorite part is this sheath of skin between the spines. It adds so much more interest to this figure, not to mention that pop of kind of orange contrasting against that kind of, what is that? almost kind of like a dark purpley black blue color. It's so eye-catching. And we also have a little bit of gloss here, which adds more interest. Also, the top of his head has that same glossy sheen to it as well. Here on the feet, I love that slow gradient of the cream color meshing into that green. And we have some nice sculpting on the feet as well. We still have that kind of a nice dimpled texture all the way along the length of the feet. The only thing I find a little out of place on this figure are the colored toes. It kind of looks like the color is too bright maybe, and that he's almost sort of wearing nail polish. And this is what we have under the bottom here, under the tail and the belly as well as the neck. We have that lighter color, still with some scale detail on the bottom. They didn't chintz out on the scale detail under here. And this is what we have under the feet. We have PNSO. I love the color palette on this guy, the creamy whites, that great natural looking pattern with the green turning into almost kind of a stripe pattern on the tail in areas, and that pop of color above the neck. We kind of have a dark creamy brown here, and under the belly and on the neck it gets sort of lighter, and underneath the tail, and it's all hidden behind those different shades of green that just look so incredibly realistic and natural. Maybe the color underneath the belly could have been a little bit more of a softer gradient, you know, not so abrupt from that darker kind of a creamy brown to the lighter creamy color. On the cover image of the packaging, the skin at the base of the spines seems to be a more of a purple pinkish color, and on the model itself it is a much darker color, kind of like a bluish purple black. I would have really liked to see that color more like the color on the box, but I really can't complain because it still looks fantastic. And as with Wilson's base, it has a kind of a similar color pattern and looks like the same sort of muddy terrain with some foliage. We also have kind of part of a stump here, a little bit of moss, a little bit of logs, some rocks, and it looks like a little hidden snail shell surprise here. Now, he doesn't clip or anything to his stand, but he does have footprints in here to allow him to kind of stand comfortably, but you can actually put him anywhere on the base plate and he stands just fine. And here is our Amargasaurus with all his Amargasaurus goodness. I really don't have anything negative to say about this figure, apart from maybe like the color of the toenails, and I would have maybe liked to see a little bit more of a gradient between the belly color and the midsection here, but it really is a piddly widdly observation when compared to the level of detail and the great paint job on this guy. So if any of you are interested in purchasing Lucio the Amargasaurus, he retails online for $59 US. And if any of you want to take a look at any other figures from PNSO, I have left links to their Amazon store as well as their website down below. You should really check out Nick the Ceratosaurus because he is definitely my favorite figure PNSO has come out with. So once again, a giant thank you to PNSO for sending this guy over for me to review because this guy looks fantastic. So please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I come with new videos every week. Come check me out on social media and help support the channel on Patreon. So thank you guys so much for watching and stay legendary.